Eli sat alone in the dim light of his laboratory. Outside, the twin suns of Arden Prime dipped behind jagged cliffs, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. He barely noticed. His mind was elsewhere, thinking of someone he hadn't seen in years. Someone whose smile had been his world. He ran his fingers over the holographic interface before him. Charts, schematics, and streams of data floated in the air like glowing insects. He had spent years working on artificial intelligence companions for the scattered colonies on Arden Prime. Humans had settled here long ago, but life was harsh. Many colonists lived in isolation, and loneliness often became a silent enemy. Eli's AIs were designed to keep people company, to make them feel seen, heard, and remembered. Tonight, however, all that science and technology felt meaningless. A faint ping broke the silence, echoing through the lab. He frowned. Only the most secure communications received this level of encryption. Curious, he tapped the console. The screen shimmered, and a holographic figure appeared. Eli froze. It was Lyra. Her face was radiant, her eyes sparkling with a familiar warmth that made his chest tighten. Her hair, pulled back neatly, shone with the soft light of the hologram. She smiled. "I want to feel that again." "Your smile," she said, her voice soft but clear, echoing in his mind more than the lab. Eli blinked, disbelief rooting him to the floor. Lyra had disappeared years ago during a mission to chart the unclaimed sectors near the Siren Nebula. They had searched for months, sending ships, probes, even private teams, but nothing had ever returned. She was gone. Lost to the void of space, and now here she was, or at least some fragment of her, reaching out across the stars. "Lyra," he whispered, his voice breaking. "Is it really you?" The hologram flickered for a moment. Her smile remained, steady and true. "Eli, I don't have much time, but I need you to find me. Please." Then she disappeared. The lab was silent again, except for the hum of the machines and the distant wind over the cliffs. Eli sank into his chair, gripping the edge tightly. His heart raced, pounding against his ribs. He had to see her again. He had to reach her. The next morning, Eli began preparations. He knew the mission would be dangerous. Beyond the edge of known space lay uncharted sectors, dangerous nebulae, and hostile conditions. Many considered the region a death trap. But Eli didn't care. Nothing mattered more than finding Lyra. He gathered his supplies, navigation charts, life support gear, and experimental AI tools designed to assist in long-range exploration. A small team of human explorers agreed to join him, though skepticism shadowed their faces. "Eli," said Captain Marin, the leader of the crew, "are you sure about this? The sectors beyond Siren Nebula are unpredictable. And this message, how do we even know it's real?" Eli met her gaze. His green eyes burned with determination. "It's her. I know it. I can feel it. Lyra would never... She would never reach out like this unless it was real." Marin shook her head, but nodded reluctantly. "Then we follow your lead. But don't let your heart cloud your judgment," Eli gave a small, tight-lipped smile. He understood the risk. He also understood that no map, no protocol, and no logic could guide him the way his heart did. As the ship, the Horizon, lifted from the dusty surface of Arden Prime, Eli watched the world shrink below him. Mountains, deserts, and scattered colonies passed in a blur. He thought of Lyra, of her laugh echoing in the hallways of the research station where they had first met. She had always been fearless, daring to venture where few humans dared. And she had believed in him, believed in what humans could do, even in the darkest corners of space. Eli touched the small pendant at his chest, a gift from Lyra long ago. It was a tiny crystal, warm and glowing faintly with stored energy. She had said it was to remember the light in the dark. Now, in the emptiness of space, it felt heavier than ever. The journey was quiet at first. The crew spent hours checking systems, mapping coordinates, and monitoring the strange signals that had accompanied Lyra's message. But soon, the emptiness of space began to press in. Eli walked through the corridors, watching the stars drift by the windows. "Do you ever think about the past?" he asked Juno, the ship's AI companion. Its holographic form shimmered as it hovered near him. "Past data records indicate frequent human nostalgia," Juno replied in its calm, melodic voice. "Your behaviors are consistent with high emotional attachment to Lyra. I calculate a 78% likelihood that your actions are influenced by sentimentality rather than pure logic." Eli laughed softly. "78% is very precise for an AI, but you're right, Juno. I can't think logically. I can only think about finding her." As they traveled farther from human space, the stars seemed to change. Colors deepened, strange auroras danced across the void, and subtle gravitational waves made the ship tremble. At one point, Eli swore. He saw a faint shimmer in the distance, a shape moving against the stars, almost like a reflection of something living. "Is that?" he whispered. Juno analyzed the data. "Unknown object detected. Signature is inconsistent with known spacecraft or natural phenomena. Suggest caution." Eli nodded, but did not look away. Something in him recognized it, something familiar, though he could not explain it. One night, as he stared out at the vast expanse, memories flooded back. He remembered the day Lyra had left for her last mission. They had stood together on the observation deck, holding hands, neither wanting to speak. The hum of the engines was the only sound. Then she had smiled at him. "Promise me something," she had said. Her voice was soft, but firm. "No matter what happens, keep your heart open. Even if I never return." Eli had nodded, tears threatening to fall. He had promised, not fully understanding how hard it would be to keep that promise. Now, staring into the void, he realized he had kept it. Every beat of his heart, every decision he had made, had been with the hope of seeing her again. And now, finally, he had a chance. Days turned into weeks. The crew grew restless. Supplies were rationed carefully. Strange cosmic storms forced course corrections. Yet through it all, Eli's determination never wavered. At night, he often returned to the lab, replaying the hologram of Lyra's smile over and over, memorizing every detail. Her smile was more than just a memory. It was hope, warmth, and courage all in one. It reminded him of why humans were special. Despite danger, despite loss, despite the vast loneliness of space, humans dared to feel, to hope, to love. That smile, it was a light that refused to go out. During one particularly fierce storm near a collapsing star cluster, the ship shuddered violently. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to stabilize the horizon. Eli's hands moved with practiced precision, guiding the ship through gravitational waves, asteroids, and energy surges. As the chaos roared around him, a single thought anchored him, Lyra's smile, and then through the trembling viewports he saw it, a faint glimmer beyond the storm. A signal? A light? He couldn't tell. But it was waiting. Eli swallowed hard, gripping the console. "Juno, set a course for that light. Whatever it is, we're going to find her." The AI's voice was calm, unwavering. "Course set, Eli. Estimated arrival, unknown. Probability of encountering Lyra, undetermined. Emotional risk, extreme." Eli smiled softly, his eyes shining. I don't care about probability, Juno. I only care about her. That's enough. The horizon glided silently through the void, leaving the familiar light of human space behind. Eli stood at the observation deck, watching the stars streak past, thinking of Lyra. Each flicker of light felt like a whisper from her, a small, stubborn promise that she was out there, waiting. "Captain," Eli said softly, turning to Marin, who was reviewing navigation charts. "Do you ever wonder if space itself wants to keep secrets from us?" Marin looked up, her brow furrowed. "Space keeps everything, Eli. Secrets, danger, life, death. It doesn't care about humans." Eli nodded. "Maybe. But I think it leaves little breadcrumbs, too. Like someone wants us to find them. Like Lyra left me a breadcrumb." Marin's eyes softened, though she said nothing. She knew better than to argue. Some things you had to feel, not reason out. The crew settled into the long, quiet days of deep space travel. Supplies were rationed carefully, and every day brought new tasks: engine maintenance, navigation updates, and AI diagnostics. Yet, despite the routine, tension simmered. "You really think this message is real?" asked Tariq, the ship's engineer, as he checked the power cores. "It could be a trap. Could be aliens trying to lure us somewhere. Could even be a trick of the AI." Eli shook his head. "It's real. I don't know how, but it's her. I can feel it. And I'm not wrong about feelings, Tariq. That's what makes us human. Our feelings guide us even when reason fails." Tariq raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Some part of him understood, though he would never admit it aloud. Days passed, and the horizon approached the Siren Nebula, a massive cloud of gas and dust that twisted and glowed with strange colors. The ship's sensors picked up unusual readings: gravitational fluctuations, energy distortions, and sporadic electromagnetic pulses. "Be ready," Eli said, tension in his voice. "The nebula is beautiful, but it's dangerous. One wrong move, and we could be lost." As they entered the swirling clouds, instruments flickered, lights on the deck blinked in warning. A strange vibration shook the ship. Crew members clutched railings as the horizon navigated through the dense nebula. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of blue light lit the observation deck. Eli's heart jumped. It was too precise to be natural, a signal perhaps, or a reflection of Lyra herself. "Juno, scan that light," he ordered. The AI hummed, analyzing the readings. Signal detected. Origin unknown. Pattern irregular yet consistent. Probability of intelligent source high. Eli's pulse quickened. "That's her. It has to be her." Marin placed a hand on his shoulder. "Eli, whatever it is, stay calm. We move carefully, one step at a time." Eli nodded, but inside, excitement and fear danced together. Each step forward brought him closer, but also deeper into danger. During the long hours in the nebula, Eli often returned to the memories of Lyra. He remembered their first meeting at the Space Academy when she had challenged him to a simulation duel and won effortlessly. He had been frustrated, but she had laughed, and that laughter had stayed with him. He remembered late nights on the colony, watching the stars with her. "One day," she had said, "we'll explore beyond these stars. There's a whole universe out there, Eli, waiting for us." And now, here he was, following her voice, her image, her smile, into the unknown. The first week of navigating the nebula was tense. Unseen energy surges caused minor systems failures. Crew members worked tirelessly to stabilize the ship. Eli spent long hours in the lab, recalibrating sensors and attempting to decode Lyra's hologram signal. One evening, as he worked alone, the hologram flickered to life again. Lyra's face appeared, her eyes shining as if she could see him through. "The stars." "Eli," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the lab. "You're close. I can feel it. But hurry. Time is fragile here." Eli leaned forward, unable to speak at first. "Lyra, I will find you, I swear it." Her smile lingered, then faded. The hologram dissolved, leaving Eli staring at an empty screen. He clenched his fists, renewed determination burning in his chest. As the horizon pressed deeper, the nebula grew more chaotic. Pulsating energy storms erupted from nowhere, forcing Eli to maneuver the ship with expert precision. One miscalculation could throw them into a spinning void or smash them against a drifting asteroid. "Hold on!" Eli shouted as the ship lurched violently. Crew members grabbed whatever they could. The stars outside twisted into streaks of color, distorted by the nebula's energy. Hours later, the storm subsided, leaving the ship battered but intact. Eli wiped sweat from his brow, relief flooding him. He looked at the stars beyond the nebula, each one like a promise. "We're close," he whispered. "I can feel it." Then a new challenge emerged. An unknown object appeared on the sensors, an enormous, floating structure of unknown origin. It shimmered with an unnatural light, and patterns on its surface seemed almost alive. "Unknown vessel detected," Juno reported. "Structure appears inactive, but energy readings suggest advanced technology." Eli stared at the display. It could be a trap, or it could be a clue to Lyra's location. The crew hesitated, unsure whether to approach. "I have to check it," Eli said firmly. "Whatever it is, it could lead me to her." Marin sighed but nodded. "Eli, just be careful. We don't know what's out there." As the horizon drew closer, the structure revealed its true nature. Strange symbols glowed on its surface, almost like a message. Then Eli felt it. A faint pull, subtle but unmistakable, as if the object recognized him. "Lyra," he whispered. The thought alone made his heart ache. Inside the strange structure, the horizon's sensors revealed corridors that seemed impossible. They twisted and bent, defying the ship's calculations. Eli's pulse quickened. The structure was alive in a way he had never seen, reacting to their presence, almost like it knew they were coming. "Juno, scan the interior. Is it safe?" "Interior topology is highly unstable. Probability of structural collapse, 56%. Recommendation, caution advised." Eli nodded. "Caution is all I have, but I'm going in. I have to find her." He led the ship carefully into the twisting corridors. The walls shimmered with faint light, and alien patterns moved. Like liquid, Eli felt a strange resonance in his chest, a pull that seemed to guide him deeper. And then, in the center of the structure, he saw a flicker of light. A small, floating sphere. He recognized it instantly. It was part of Lyra's signal, the OI. Same holographic code that had reached him months ago. Eli's hands shook as he activated the docking clamp. "Juno, prepare the interface. I need to access that signal." As he connected to the sphere, a rush of images flooded his mind. Memories, Lyra's laughter, her smile, the times they had spent together, everything. But there was also fear. A warning. She was trapped, not in time, but in a dimension that barely touched reality. Eli gasped. "Lyra, I'll get you out. I promise." That night, Eli stood on the observation deck, staring at the stars beyond the nebula. The strange structure remained behind them, floating like a silent guardian. He knew the next steps would be even more dangerous. The dimensional rift holding Lyra could tear the ship apart, and yet he could not turn back. He closed his eyes and pictured her smile. That simple, radiant smile that had once lit his world. No matter what lay ahead, he knew one. Truth. Humans survived, humans thrived, and humans never gave up. And he would carry that truth with him, across the void, until he found her. The stars seemed to shimmer in response, as if the universe itself had noticed his determination. Eli clenched his fists, eyes shining with fierce resolve. "I will find you, Lyra, no matter what it takes." The horizon emerged from the last tendrils of the Siren Nebula into a wide, open space. Stars stretched endlessly, but Eli's eyes were fixed on one destination, a distant planet glowing faintly in the void. It was alive with color, a swirl of green forests, sapphire oceans, and towering crystal formations that shimmered like giant gemstones. "Juno, scan the planet," Eli said, his voice tense with anticipation. "I need to know what we're landing on." Juno's holographic form flickered beside him. "Planetary scan complete. Atmosphere breathable. Signs of life abundant. Civilization unknown. Probability of human presence 0. Emotional resonance high." Eli frowned. "Emotional resonance?" "It is difficult to quantify," Juno explained. "The planet itself seems aware, responds to feelings. High intensity detected, particularly in relation to you and Lyra." Eli's heart raced. It was impossible. A planet aware of emotions? Yet as he stared at its glowing forests, he felt it. A pull, faint but insistent, as though the planet was calling him forward. Marin piloted the horizon down carefully, weaving past crystal towers and dense canopies. The ship landed on a flat plateau near a wide, sparkling river. The atmosphere was warm and fragrant, filled with scents of unknown flora. The crew stepped out, marveling at the vibrant colors, the alien sky reflecting in the river below. "This place," Tariq muttered. "It's beautiful. And creepy." Eli's attention was elsewhere. He felt the faintest ripple in the air, a gentle tug on his chest. It reminded him of Lyra. He closed his eyes. "She's here. She has to be." Suddenly the forest shifted. Trees moved without wind, leaves whispering strange patterns. The crew froze, unsure what to do. Then, from the dense greenery, beings emerged. They were tall and slender, with glowing blue skin and eyes that shimmered like liquid crystal. They moved gracefully, almost floating above the ground. When they spoke, their voices resonated in Eli's mind rather than his ears, carrying emotion more than words. "Humans," a melodic voice said. "Why have you come?" Eli stepped forward. "I'm looking for someone, a woman, Lyra. She's trapped. I need your help." The beings tilted their heads, studying him. Their eyes glowed brighter as they seemed to sense his emotions. "You carry great hope and great longing. We feel her, but she is not fully here. She is caught in the rift between worlds." Eli's heart skipped a beat. "The rift? How do I reach her?" The beings moved closer, touching the ground with their fingers. The crystals along the planet's surface pulsed with light. "You must navigate the dimension beyond reality. To succeed, you must understand both human heart and mind. Only your determination, courage, and hope can guide you through." Eli swallowed. "I'll do whatever it takes." "Then you may enter," the lead being said. "But know this, the path is dangerous. Some never return. Some are lost forever. Are you ready?" Eli's hands tightened into fists. "I have to be. I can't fail her. I won't." That night, Eli and the crew camped near the glowing river. Around them, the alien world shimmered as if aware of their presence. Eli could feel faint echoes of Lyra's consciousness, tiny flashes of her smile, her laughter, the way she used to speak his name. He sat beside the river, watching the ripples reflect the twin moons overhead. "I remember when we watched the stars together," he whispered. "You always said the universe was waiting for us, waiting to be explored. I'm here now. I'll find you, Lyra. I promise." Juno floated beside him. Analysis indicates your emotional connection may help stabilize Lyra's presence in the rift. Your hope and determination are essential. Eli nodded, staring into the water. Hope is all I have. The next day, Eli prepared for the first attempt to enter the dimensional rift. The alien beings led him to a crystalline structure, tall and circular, filled with flowing energy. It pulsed in time with his heartbeat. This is the gateway, the lead being explained. It aligns human consciousness with the rift. You must focus. Do not let fear or doubt control you. Only then can you reach her. Eli stepped inside, feeling the energy wrap around him like warm water. The world outside began to blur. Stars, trees, rivers, all faded into a swirling vortex of color and light. His mind spun as he reached for control. Lyra, he whispered. Her smile appeared in his mind, bright and radiant, shining through the chaos. He focused on it, on her voice, on everything that reminded him of why he had come. The vortex shifted. He saw fragments of Lyra's memories, her training at the academy, their first mission together, the night they had watched the stars and dreamed. Each memory was sharp, vivid, and full of emotion. But then fear struck. Shadows moved within. The rift, trying to pull him away, whispering doubt and despair. She is lost. She will never return. You cannot save her. Eli's hands trembled, but he clenched them. He remembered her words from years ago. Keep your heart open, even if I never return. No, he shouted. I will not let you go. I will find you. I will not fail. The rift responded. The shadows recoiled, and a faint light appeared ahead. Eli moved toward it, each step a struggle against the pull of fear. He saw a figure, small, fragile, yet unmistakable. Lyra. Eli. Her voice was a whisper carried across the void. Her eyes shone, the same radiant blue that had haunted his dreams. You came. He reached for her. I promised. I told you I would find you. I knew I could. Tears blurred his vision as he stepped closer. The rift shimmered, dangerous and unstable, but he felt her warmth. He could almost touch her hand. Don't be afraid, Lyra said softly. I can feel you. But the rift, it resists. You must be strong, stronger than the fear, stronger than doubt. Eli nodded. I am. I have to be. They moved together, step by step, through the twisting, unstable landscape of the rift. Memories, emotions, and fragments of their lives flashed around them, threatening to pull them apart. But Eli held on, to her, to hope, to determination. Hours, or maybe minutes, later, the light ahead brightened. The rift's chaos subsided slightly. Eli could see the end, a shimmering portal back to the physical world where the alien planet waited. Almost there, Lyra whispered. I can feel the ground, the air, the warmth of life. Keep going. Eli reached for her hand. Their fingers brushed. Sparks of light danced along their skin, and a powerful surge of energy pushed them forward. He felt the rift resisting, trying to pull them back, but he held on. Finally, they stepped through. The light dissolved around them, and they fell onto soft grass beside the glowing river. Eli gasped, pulling Lyra close. She was real, warm, alive. Her eyes shone with tears, and she smiled, radiant and genuine. I thought I'd never see you again, she said, voice trembling. I told you, Eli whispered, holding her tightly. I promised, and I always keep my promises. Lyra's fingers traced his face, and he felt a deep, unshakable connection. The same bond they had shared years ago, now stronger than ever. The alien beings appeared, watching silently but approvingly. Their eyes glimmered as if acknowledging Eli's determination. One spoke softly in his mind. Humans are strange, Their strength does not come from technology or weapons. It comes from hope, courage, and heart. You have proven yourself worthy. Eli looked at Lyra. We're together now. Nothing else matters. Lyra smiled, her eyes shining. I want to feel that again. Your smile. Eli grinned, feeling the weight of fear, doubt, and uncertainty lift. The stars above them reflected in the river, bright and endless, as if celebrating their reunion. For the first time in years, Eli felt peace. Hope had guided him across the void. Courage had carried him through the unknown. And human heart, resilient, stubborn, and unyielding, had brought him Lyra back. But even as they embraced, Eli knew their journey was not over. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders, yet now, whatever challenges lay ahead, he would face them with Lyra by his side. Together they had crossed the edge of reality itself and survived. The sky of Varel's station was never truly dark. Even during the cycle when most lights dimmed, the giant planet the station orbited glowed faintly beyond the shielded windows. Ships came and went, their lights cutting across the black, like silent, shooting stars. Kale sat in his small quarters, staring at the data slate on his desk. Messages blinked in the corner of the screen, but he wasn't reading them. His mind was far away, replaying the moment Lyra had looked at him and said those words. I want to feel that again. Your smile. It had been strange, hearing her voice soften like that. Lyra wasn't the type to show weakness. She was an officer, disciplined and composed, yet in that moment she had looked almost human, even though she wasn't. The hum of the station seemed louder tonight. Kyle leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. Something had shifted between them, and he didn't know what to do about it. The door chimed. When it opened, Lyra stood there, wearing her flight uniform, helmet tucked under her arm, her hair slightly messy as if she had come straight from the hangar. You're still awake, she said. I was thinking, Kyle replied. Her sharp eyes studied him for a moment. Good. We need to talk. They walked along the station's outer ring, the curved corridor giving a view of the distant stars. Lyra's boots clicked against the floor, but Kale's steps were slower, more careful. I ran a trace on that ship, Lyra began. The one that chased you on your last cargo run. Kale's brow furrowed. And? It wasn't a pirate craft. That caught him off guard. Then, what was it? An Othari scout, covert model. No official markings, but the tech matches their military signatures. Kale stopped walking. Othari military? Why would they come after me? That's what I'm trying to figure out, she said, lowering her voice. But if they were willing to track you through 3 sectors, then it's not about cargo. It's about you. He felt a cold weight settle in his chest. You think they know about Earth? Lyra's gaze flickered to him. I think they suspect something. And if they confirm it, things will get ugly. The Othari have always wanted control over unregistered species. To them, humans are a resource waiting to be claimed. Kale clenched his fists. Not happening. That's why I'm here, she said simply. They reached a quiet observation deck where only the faint vibration of the station systems could be heard. Lyra leaned against the rail, looking out at the giant planet below. You know, when I first met you, I didn't understand why humans smiled so much, she said. On my world, we don't waste expressions on strangers. Kale gave a small chuckle. Yeah, well, smiling's kind of our thing. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it's just a way to make things feel less heavy. Her eyes turned toward him, the faint blue glow from the viewport reflecting in them. The first time you smiled at me, I didn't know what it meant. But it made me feel something I hadn't felt in years. Kyle didn't know what to say to that. I think the Othari fear that, she continued quietly, not the smile itself, but what it represents. You humans, you change people just by being yourselves, and they can't control that. For a while, they just stood there in silence, watching the planet slowly rotate beneath them. Suddenly, the station's alarms blared. The calm hum of the night was shattered by flashing red lights. A voice came over the intercom. All defense. Units to positions. Incoming vessels on intercept course. Lyra straightened instantly, her posture sharp. That's them. Kyle's pulse spiked. Othari? Most likely, she said, already moving toward the door. Stay in your quarters, I'm not hiding, Kale interrupted. If they're after me, I should be doing something about it. Her expression hardened, but there was something else in her eyes, too. Something like pride. Fine, she said, but you follow my lead. No hero stunts. The hangar bay was chaos. Fighters were being armed, crews shouted orders, and the massive blast doors groaned as they began to open to the void. Kale followed Lyra to her ship, a sleek, silver craft with twin engines and an almost predatory shape. She climbed into the cockpit and motioned for him to take the co-pilot's seat. Strap in, she ordered. The moment they cleared the hangar, the void erupted with motion. Half a dozen enemy ships closed in, their engines glowing a sinister red. They're broadcasting nothing, Lyra said, scanning the displays. No ID, no signals. That confirms it. Kale gritted his teeth. Othari! They weaved between bursts of plasma fire. Lyra's hands were steady on the controls, her eyes focused and sharp. Kale monitored the shields, calling out damage reports. As they came in, one of the enemy ships broke formation and came straight for them. Hang on, Lyra said, and the ship rolled hard, diving toward the planet before pulling up sharply. The Othari craft overshot them, and Lyra spun the ship around, locking onto its engines. Fire! Kyle shouted. The ship's cannons roared, and the enemy craft exploded in a flash of white light. That's one, Lyra said. But there was. No time to celebrate. 4 more ships were still closing in. The fight was brutal. The station's defenses managed to take out 2 more enemy ships, but the remaining ones were relentless. Lyra's voice was calm as she gave Kale instructions, but he could feel the tension in every movement she made. A sudden jolt rocked the cockpit. Warning lights flared. They hit the stabilizers, Kyle said, checking the readouts. Lyra gritted her teeth. We can't outmaneuver them for long like this. Kale's mind raced. What if we lure them closer to the station's defense? Turrets? They'll avoid the kill zone unless... She stopped, eyes narrowing. Unless they think they have no choice. Exactly. She gave a sharp nod and swung the ship around, making it look like they were fleeing in panic toward the station. The Othari ships followed, their weapons blazing. Just before reaching the turret range, Lyra pulled a sudden drift maneuver, spinning the ship sideways and letting the station's guns lock onto the pursuers. Massive bursts of fire tore through space, shredding the enemy ships in seconds. Silence returned, broken only by the hum of the engines. As they docked, Kale let out a long breath. That was intense. Lyra glanced at him. You did well. For someone who claims not to be a fighter, he smirked. Guess your smile's rubbing off on me. For a brief moment, her lips curved upward, just a little. It wasn't much, but it was real. The horizon floated quietly above the alien planet. Its surface shimmered in the soft light of 2 suns, reflecting greens, blues, and purples across the ship's hull. Eli sat in the cockpit, staring at the display, trying to focus on the next step. Lyra sat beside him, still recovering from the strain of the dimensional rift. Her breathing was steady now, and she finally looked at him with a faint smile. You saved me, she whispered. I promised, Eli replied, taking her hand in his. And I always keep my promises. Lyra's eyes shone, reflecting the vast expanse beyond the viewport. I thought I'd never feel this again. The real world, your presence, your smile. Eli smiled gently. Then don't let go of it. Not ever. The aliens that had guided Eli before appeared once more. Their glowing forms drifted closer, to the ship silent but commanding. One of them spoke in Eli's mind, soft and melodic. You humans are extraordinary. Others may rely on technology alone, but your hearts guide you. You are strong because you feel, because you hope, because you never give up. Eli looked at Lyra, squeezing her hand. It's true, he said softly. And it's worth everything. We've been through. The aliens nodded as if agreeing. Then slowly they began to retreat, leaving Eli and Lyra to stand together on the surface of the planet. Eli helped Lyra step onto the soft, glowing grass. The energy of the planet felt alive beneath their feet, warm and comforting. She inhaled deeply, taking in the alien air, but her eyes never left his face. Do you realize what you just did? She asked. You crossed the rift, faced dangers beyond anything we've imagined, and brought me back. Eli shrugged. I didn't do it alone. I had you in my mind, guiding me. Lyra laughed softly. It was a sound Eli had longed to hear for years. I've always believed humans were stubborn, she said. And you're the most stubborn of all. Maybe, Eli admitted, smiling. But stubbornness works sometimes. The calm didn't last long. The rift had left traces in the dimension, weak spots in reality that shimmered unpredictably across the planet. Strange energy currents surged, and the ground trembled. Eli and Lyra paused, sensing danger. It's unstable, Lyra said. We can't stay here too long, Eli nodded. Then let's find a way back to the ship. They began walking, but the ground beneath them rippled, as if the planet itself was responding to the remnants of the rift. Colors swirled around them, and faint images of the rift flashed in the air, shadows, light, and distorted memories. Eli grabbed Lyra's hand firmly. Don't let go, he said. She tightened her grip. Never. Suddenly, the rift's energy coalesced into a shape, a shadowy figure, flickering like a broken hologram. It moved quickly, surrounding them, forcing them to run. Eli's heart pounded as he pulled Lyra along, dodging streams of unstable energy that could tear them apart. Hold on to me, he shouted. Lyra's laughter and fear blended together as they ran. I won't let go. You better not either. The shadow reached out, trying to separate them, but Eli focused on one thought. Lyra. Her smile. Her voice. Her presence. It anchored him, and somehow it pushed the shadows back. The ground trembled violently, but they finally reached a stable area where the planet's energy was calm. Eli collapsed to his knees, Lyra crouching beside him. We made it, she said, breathing heavily. Together, always together, Eli whispered. The horizon was waiting for them at the edge of the glowing forest. As they boarded, Eli noticed the ship's systems detecting the remaining energy fluctuations. He quickly initiated the stabilization protocol. Watching the rift's remnants dissipate, Lyra stood behind him, her hands resting lightly on his shoulders. You know, she said softly, we could have been lost forever, but we're not. No, Eli agreed, because humans never give up. That's the difference. The engines hummed, lifting the ship into orbit. The alien planet slowly disappeared beneath them, its colors fading into the void. Eli looked at Lyra, who smiled at him. The smile that had started it all, the one that had kept him going through months of fear, uncertainty, and loneliness. I want to feel that. Again, she said, her eyes shining. Your smile, your hope, your courage. Eli took a deep breath. Then you will. As long as I live, you'll always feel that. As they navigated back toward known space, Eli and Lyra spent long hours in quiet conversation, sharing memories, laughter, and relief. They didn't need to talk about fear or danger. Both knew it had been real. Both knew it could happen again. But in that moment, they only needed each other. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, but for the first time, Eli felt the universe was not a place of danger, but of wonder. It was vast, yes, and unpredictable, but full of possibilities. And with Lyra by his side, nothing seemed impossible. Weeks later, back on Arden Prime, Eli and Lyra were greeted as heroes. Word of their journey spread quickly. The lost explorer, found, the rift navigated, and the human determination that had conquered impossible odds. Colonists cheered, children stared wide-eyed, and even the scientists who had doubted Eli's mission marveled at the proof of what humans could achieve. But Eli and Lyra didn't care about recognition. They only cared about each other. Standing on the observation deck of the main research station, they looked out at the horizon. The twin suns were dipping behind jagged cliffs, just as they had on the night Eli first received her message. Lyra leaned against him. "Do you remember when you promised to keep your heart open, even if I never returned?" "I remember," Eli said, smiling down at her. "And you kept it," she whispered. He laughed softly. "Of course I did. Humans are stubborn like that." Her eyes shone, reflecting the last light of the suns. "I want to feel that again." "Your smile," she said, repeating the words that had started this entire journey. Eli bent down and kissed her forehead gently. "Then you will. Every day. Every moment." They stood together in silence, letting the quiet hum of the station and the golden light of the setting suns fill the space between them. For Eli and Lyra, the universe was no longer a void to fear, but a place to explore, live, and share their smiles. Even in the vast expanse of space, the power of human hope, courage, and heart had triumphed.